Welcome to the Recommended Daily Value Podcast, your daily dose into the health and wellness world.
Welcome back to the Recommended Daily Value Podcast, where we dive into everything health, fitness, and nutrition related 5 days a week in 5 minutes or less. This podcast is brought to you by Umzu, and I'm your host, Tyler Woodward. Today, we've got a very special day for you all, as we're talking about the Mammoth Meatballs. So as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So you may have heard of the recent development, if you want to call it that, where scientists made a meatball out of mammoth DNA. Here's how they did it. First, the genome of the woolly mammoth is widely available. If you wanted to, you could probably pull it up yourself online, not that it would actually be of any use to you. The issue with mammoth DNA is that we don't have a clear picture of the entire genome. While DNA is incredibly stable, especially compared to like RNA alternatives, like anything else, it also degrades over time. The result is that we're missing certain pieces or fragments within the woolly mammoth DNA. In order to complete the genome, they cross-reference DNA from the woolly mammoth's closest living relative, the African elephant. For the purpose of developing the meatball, they utilize a gene that codes for myoglobin. Myoglobin is the muscular equivalent of hemoglobin in that it carries oxygen and iron, but it's only in muscle and cardiac cells, and it's mostly an oxygen storage protein rather than an oxygen transport protein like hemoglobin. This is a major part of what gives meat its taste. Myoglobin is a major part of what gives meat its taste. Next, they inserted the DNA for the myoglobin into a sheep myoblast using a vector. A vector is a molecule that transports DNA into the nucleus of the cell, and a myoblast is a muscle stem cell. Once the mammoth/elephant DNA was inserted into the nucleus, they replicated the cell repeatedly until they got a big old mammoth elephant meatball. If you're wondering why they decided to make a mammoth meatball, the whole objective was behind the company is to show that lab-grown meat is a viable, blood-free alternative to conventional meat. Also to show that there's no blood loss in making this meat and that we can completely switch to lab-grown meat, as there is no blood loss in this meat, but it's really not truly woolly mammoth meat or really meat at all. The reason why it's not woolly mammoth meat is pretty clear, as it's also part elephant. The reason it's not representative of actual meat is because it's one cloned protein rather than a vast array of different proteins, all of which would have different amino acids, among other different nutrients and cell types found in real meat. It also likely does not contain the full extent of other vitamins and minerals that are present in real meat. As I've discussed before, I don't think the future of our food supply lies in lab-grown meat or anything synthetic, rather a return to natural, regeneratively grown meat. Well, that's it for this episode. So remember to check out your freezer section for mammoth meatballs. Not actually, they probably won't ever exist in reality, but if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button and to share it with a friend. And remember, these opinions of my own, based on my own research and experiences, and it's not medical advice. Till next time, be good.